Ah, yes, boys and girls, it is finally that time of the year. Let's maybe fix this just a hash, hey? There we go. Lovely. Another day, another stream, another chance to try some more coffee. Wow, we're looking pretty huge today, folks. Guys, I don't know what's going on with my laptop here. It's just not connecting to my internet. But hello, everybody. I'm doing an intro, but nobody's here yet. I will just go ahead and wait until we have some more folks that join in here. And once we do, then we can begin. Just want to make sure that I have all the things set up. And for some reason, it's just not connecting to Wi-Fi. I'm not sure. Here we go. Yeah, we're having trouble loading your feed. Is anybody in here yet? Anybody in here? Still waiting. It takes a while for people to join, though. From what I have heard. This is a little bit too bright, actually. This is a little bit better, though. This is probably the angle we're going to go with for the rest of our time here on planet Earth. All right, you know what? Let's just go ahead and restart the PC. We'll just restart it. Here we go. We've got people coming in now. Perfect timing. Perfect. Hello, everybody. Welcome to yet another Coffee to the Move stream. I, of course, am your host, Big Ben. That's what they call me around these parts. Not really, but it is what they call me. And this is our third stream that we've ever done. If you're new to the stream, you've never watched before, this is a stream where we go and walk through everything you need to know about possibly one of the best coffees to come out this year, last year, the last 10 years, the last eon, maybe even of all time. That's debatable, but the other four things that I said are not debatable, right? Coffee to the Moo is an innovative coffee that's just full of a bunch of features. And for some folks that are coming into it for the very first time, you might need someone like myself who would be considered an expert in his field to explain to you every possible thing that you can know about not only Coffee to the Moo, but the ingredients and the things that it can do for you. How can it save money in your wallet? Everything. That's what I'm here for. So if this is your first time, we are going to be having a great time together for the next hour. Buckle up if you have a seatbelt. If not, then make sure that you're in a seated chair or something, because you might get blown away. And if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. It's great to see you guys again. Not actually, but you know what I mean. Anyway, it is a very early 9:30 a.m. here in California. No rain today, by the way, which is great. It's been raining the last few days. I don't mind rain, actually. The last two streams that we had, I think it rained, and we had a great time. I like to drink a little bit of coffee. So, with that being said, we've kind of wasted enough time. I've got my little computer here off to the side. I had to restart it. It was having some internet issues. That's just typical problems here in the lifestyle. But let's get right into it, guys, and go into a small overview of today's stream. Again, if you're brand new, this is going to be very helpful for you. If you're someone who's just tuning again, this might be overview for you. But again, pay attention, because there's always something new that we're trying to bring to the stream. And I'll start with the new viewers here and walk you guys through what our stream will kind of look like. As you guys can see in front of me, I have 4 different boxes. They're all the same exact brand, Coffee to the Moo, but there's different flavors and different coffees. And then, of course, one is the trifecta pack, which we'll cover as well. But our job here today is to go over all 4 of these boxes and go in-depth detail, like I mentioned, about the nutrition facts. We're going to cover what each box does for you, the ingredients that are inside of it, where they're found, are they safe, yada yada. We're also going to cover, of course, the financial aspect of it, of why this might be the best bang for your buck coffee, not only on the market, but just in general, in terms of this could solve a solution of having to go to a Starbucks every day, right? This can be the thing for you. We're also going to cover, of course, in a live demo, that's right, live demo. I've got a cup of water here. I have a little bit of coffee creamer. And of course, inside these boxes is our coffee. And we'll make a live coffee sample just like we always do. And we enjoy that coffee nicely on stream while we stream. That's kind of the whole, what's the word? That's the whole theme of this stream. Theme stream. Look at that. Man's rhyming already. But let's start, guys. Let's get into it. So now that you guys kind of know what we're going to be covering, for the returning viewers, most of this stuff might be new or old information to you, but there's going to be some stuff that we're also going to go into detail today, specifically regarding the Holy Moo. I think once a stream, every stream we do, we might go a little bit in-depth detail into some of the things that are in these boxes. So I did a little bit of extensive research on lion's mane, which is an ingredient found in the Holy Moo, and then we also did a little bit of deeper research into MCT, which we'll get into as well. And I'm going to try to keep the sciencey stuff to a minimum as much as it's required. Like I said, we want to cover all the ingredients that are in the boxes, and the reason why is because a lot of this stuff you might not have heard of before, and you might not know what exactly that stuff does. And if you're putting things in your body, it's a good idea to know where does it come from, and of course, is it safe, and what's it supposed to be doing for your body. So that's kind of the overview for the stream. Without any more time wasted, let's hop right into it. Like I said, we have 4 boxes in front of us here, nicely displayed. I'll go individually and give them names so that we can have names for the boxes, right? We have, of course, the Holy Moo. The Boo, it's kind of a seafoam green. People say blue or green. To me, this is seafoam green. But this is the Holy Moo. This is designed for mind and focus. You might be wondering, why is he saying it's designed for mind and focus if it's just coffee? Well, that's the catch. But we'll get to the catch in a moment. This is the Trifecta pack, which we'll come to last because it's special box. This then is the Skinny Moo. This has MCT, helps with things like weight loss and fat burning. And lastly, we have, of course, the Beauty Moo, the pink box that's designed to help with skin and gum health. And then, of course, the box that got neglected, the black sheep of the family, so to speak, but not really the black sheep of the family, the Trifecta pack, right? The Trifecta pack is just a pack filled with these 3 items, right? There's no specific flavor about it. It just includes 4 vials from each of these 3 boxes, right? Now, some of you might be wondering why I was mentioning these coffees having an effect to them, like the Holy Moo with the mind and the body. Well, that's kind of the first sort of catch with this coffee, and it's not just a regular coffee, right? We used to talk about, I think our first stream or second stream, maybe both of them. We spoke about how when you go to the store, typically you'll buy coffee grounds, maybe coffee filters, and then you might pick up a coffee creamer of your choice if you decide to drink coffee creamer with your coffee, right? And typically, the coffee does one main thing for you. It has caffeine in it, and it helps wake you up in the morning. It helps get you energized. For some people, it's a ritual, and maybe they add their own effects in there, but I mean, the factual things it does for you is it's loaded up with caffeine, and that's all it does. That's all you get out of it. But that's why this coffee is not necessarily the normal. It's different. It gives you more than just caffeine. And I think the best way to exemplify this is to kind of walk you through one of these boxes to show you what I'm talking about. So we'll start with the one that I've tried the most, but we're not going to try this one today on stream because we've already tried it several times. It's the Holy Moo, right? Now, 4 sides to the box. We're going to cover everything on the box from all 4 sides, and we're going to go in-depth detail as to what these boxes actually contain on the inside of them. And if you guys want to follow along, right below me there is a whole catalog of the same exact products, so you guys can click on this and watch, and all the pictures will showcase exactly what I'm reading from. But I want to give you guys an idea of what exactly is inside these coffees that makes them so unique. So on the very front of the coffee box, you have, of course, the brand name, 12 shots, but you notice it says Nitro Coffee Concentrate with Infusion, right? Nitro Coffee. We spoke about a little bit how Nitro Coffee, in case you don't know, of course, is coffee with nitrogen infusion on the inside of it, right? If you ever go to a Starbucks or any kind of store that sells coffee, there's a good chance that they're going to have like a nitro cold brew or nitrogen coffee, something of that nature, right? This has vials on the inside of it. If I crack this open, it has vials on the inside of it, just like this. That's how big they are. And these vials have got nitrogen infused coffee inside of them, right? Now, for those who don't know, making your own nitrogen coffee is not easy. It's not necessarily the simplest thing in the world to do. So something like nitrogen coffee, it's a bit niche, right? You can't necessarily go and make your own nitrogen coffee. You can, but there's a few steps that for most people, they don't want to go out to the trouble of making it. So that brings you to kind of the first point. If you're a fan of nitrogen coffee, which for me I am, nitrogen coffee has that kind of smoother taste to it. Having some trouble closing this box. Sorry, guys. They've been opened and unclosed so many times. I don't want to crinkle them. Man, please. There we go. No, doesn't close. There we go. So anyway, if you like the flavor of nitrogen coffee, like for myself, for example, I love nitrogen coffee. It's got that kind of smooth taste to it. But you don't have access to nitrogen coffee because for whatever reason, mainly it's just difficult to prepare. You have to go out to the local coffee shop to go get nitrogen coffee, meaning it's not conveniently found. Something that separates True Moo from kind of every other coffee out there is it's in a limited market, right? It's in a very specific niche of coffee. It's not just coffee, like I said, it's nitrogen coffee. And if you really take a look at through the internet of other nitrogen coffee brands, especially that have this simplistic design to them and make it so easy, you're not going to find many options, right? The options that you will find, and I've looked at them as well, they're nowhere near as affordable and they're nowhere near as impactful for you as True Moo, right? Coffee to the Moo has got to be probably the best of the bunch. It's the probably pinnacle of what I would imagine is kind of new innovative design. And we're going to talk about the patent press drip system in a second, but I just want to mention that there's not very many things on the market like this. Coffee to the Moo is kind of a specific thing, not meant for specific people, right? Because you don't need to like nitrogen coffee to drink it. But it's a very specific niche that a lot of people can afford from, but there's not a lot of options out there. So that's the very first thing. But when you read to the box, you'll find other things. The main thing, of course, that's going to stand out to you is when it says brain and focus blend. It says that right there at the bottom, brain and focus blend. It's backwards, but it does say that, right? These coffees, what makes them so unique is the fact that, yes, you do get coffee out of them. That's true. But the other thing that you get out of them is these kind of unique added benefits for health and wellness. So what does this coffee do specifically? Says right here, brain and focus blend. What does that mean? Well, there's 3 ingredients that can help you with brain and focus, and they all kind of do specific things. These other 2 boxes, our Beauty Moo, which is our pink, and our Skinny Moo, which is our brown box, are very similar. This is the Skinny Moo that helps with weight loss and fat burning. This is the Beauty Moo that helps with skin and teeth and gum wellness, right? And we'll get into those things, but you're starting to see maybe the picture that I'm painting for you, that this is not regular coffee. So if we turn the box to this side, they kind of have already anticipated you might be a little bit confused as to what exactly the coffee is. And so they've gone into detail as to the 3 ingredients that they have inside. The 3 ingredients that are included in this particular box is lion's mane, huperzine A, and B vitamins, right? You maybe have heard of B vitamins, but you might not know what huperzine or lion's mane is. That's okay. They do go into detail as to what each of them is supposed to do. Lion's mane is supposed to support memory, focus, and clarity. Huperzine A is supporting cognitive function. And then, of course, B vitamins supports your nervous system and brain cell function. It's nice that they include the kind of transparency, right? We spoke about last stream how nice it is to have a company that's transparent for you, and we're going to get into that as well. But I want to stay on the topic of this kind of unique addition that they give you, right? So you might start to understand now that the coffee is not just a coffee. It's supposed to help you in different ways. Sticking with the Holy Moo, it's supposed to literally help you with brain and focus. That's what it's meant to do. It gives you that boost of caffeine, but it also gives you a little bit extra. Maybe it's a good time to mention now, I did a little bit of research, right, on a few of the ingredients. This doesn't just help with brain and focus blend, but it helps kind of reduce the anxiety, helps you calm down a little bit. There's a ton of stuff that it does. And the ingredients that they have inside, you might not have heard about them, but they really do help explain all of those things away. And it's easy to read, it's easy to find, it's all on the back of the box, right? We did also mention on the back of the box as well, there's a nutrition label plus directions. The directions are very simple: peel, press, add water. We will show that in just a little bit. But when you take a look at the ingredients, and again, something that we spoke about on last stream was that a lot of stuff is loaded with a bunch of ingredients. In fact, if I just pull out this coffee creamer, that's the entire ingredients list. It's like half the bottle right there, right? But these guys have a pretty small ingredients list, which is very interesting. In fact, let me read you the ingredients and explain to you how simple the ingredients are. The first 2 main ingredients, water, liquid coffee. Those are the first 2 main ingredients, which is really nice to see. Then, of course, you have huperzine A, lion's mane extract, this is a tough one, phosphate-glycerin, ginseng extract, and then finally a vitamin complex of A, E, B1, B2, B6, folic acid, and niacin, right? So really, they have, I think, 7 or 8 ingredients. Most of them you might have heard of, like ginseng extract. I've used this example before. It's like caffeine, but not exactly the exact same thing. You'll find it in things like Arizona iced tea. It's kind of that boost of energy. That's kind of where that's helping you out in the clarity and mind focus part. Water, liquid coffee, of course we know what that is. All the vitamins we've probably heard about before. Phosphate-glycerin, fun fact, phosphate-glycerin, if I'm not mistaken, is something that's naturally found. You'll find that oftentimes in remnants of like nitrogen. So the nitrogen coffee that comes inside of that, you can typically find that like it's in the coffee itself. It's a chemical bond that happens, I believe. I might be mistaking that with a different ingredient, but it's completely safe. Just to put it out there, it's very safe. But it's a naturally formed chemical compound that comes into it, right? And then of course you have huperzine A and lion's mane. So the ingredients on the back are all completely safe, completely 100%. Nothing chemically created in a laboratory, nothing that's artificial. It's all natural ingredients, which is very nice. And you'll notice on the front of the box as well, they have 4 of these small tabs. You can't read them, but I'll read them for you, right? Vegan friendly, which is something that I mentioned before. If you don't know what the vegan diet is, it's very specific in terms of no animal products. So if something has a vegan friendly stamp on it, it's a pretty good chance to say that all the ingredients are also naturally formed, which is really, really, really nice. You also, of course, have got gluten free. That never hurts. Here's again pressing on that point that I said, GMO friendly. No GMO, excuse me, non-GMO friendly. It's not GMO friendly. We do not like GMOs here. We're not friendly to them. But it's very nice to see that it's GMO friendly. Again, this kind of goes back to a lot of this might seem scary, especially things like, oh, it's supposed to help your brain and your focus blend. That can sound scary, but it's nice to know when you look at the ingredients that not only they're naturally formed, but there's no chemical compounds, nothing artificially made that's inserted into there. I wouldn't expect you guys to be putting something into your body if you didn't know what was in the product to begin with, right? So that's kind of a look at the ingredients list. And of course, they also have the directions again listed at the bottom. We will go into detail as to how to use this coffee. But then something else I want to touch on before we move away from the nutrition facts, and all the coffees have this, by the way. All the coffees, they're pretty much the exact same in terms of their nutrition information and then also their breakdown of nutrition facts. But something to note here, just so I can give you guys the specifics. 30 milligrams of sodium, which is very minimal, 1% of the daily dose, and then no cholesterol, right? Something else that's very nice, maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. You see number 13 there on the total calories. You'll never see a product with 13 calories ever. You never see it. And same thing with the total fat, for example. 2.6, I think, is what this one has. No, 0.05 grams, right? To the very specifics, these people have given you guys the exact information that's going inside their drink, which is incredibly nice. A lot of times you'll see brands, for example, I hate to use these guys again, but everything here on the label is always going to be rounded to the 5, right? 25 calories or 20 grams of carbohydrates, whatever it might be. And a lot of times I think some of that stuff gets rounded up most times. Most of the times, though, it feels like it gets rounded down. And it's nice that you have a small detail like that where they're very specific with how many calories, how many carbohydrates, how much grams of sodium, all of those things. That's very nice to get. And this is kind of building a point that I'm going to get to in a little bit later, where the company themselves kind of cares more about you guys as not only customers, but as people, which is something that not a lot of companies can say, I think, nowadays. But we're going to get to that point as well. I'm just kind of building a general circle of understanding for you guys for the coffee itself. On the last back of the box, again, all of these have this exact same kind of, I call it a mission statement because there's 5 different points. It says, why coffee to the moo? And these are good selling points that we can kind of touch on once. Number 1, of course, the coffee bean that they use is 100% Arabica. And I've made this joke a few times now, and I probably should research Arabica in terms of how commonly it's used in coffee. But you've probably heard of Arabica coffee bean before. But the joke that I make is that my roommate, who really likes coffee, he's kind of this indie guy, very nice guy, but he really does like coffee. The coffee beans he uses are Arabica. So I make the joke that if the indie guy who really likes coffee and is very technical with it, if he's using Arabica, that has to be a good sign. But in general, like I said, you've probably heard about Arabica before. You know it's a very commonly used bean, and there's a reason why, because it's one of the best coffee beans out there, right? It's very easy to brew, but it tastes really good. That's kind of all you need, really, for a good coffee bean. And it's nice to know that these guys have that in there, right? We spoke about earlier as well, Nitro coffee concentrate with Infusion. And we spoke about, of course, how not readily available nitrogen coffee is in general. Most of the times you have to either A, make it yourself, which is not something you can just wake up in the morning and do with a coffee brewer and a spoon. You need additional supplies, which is additional money and additional time in the morning. But on top of that, if you don't have any of those things, then you have to go out somewhere to grab that, right? They do sell, I believe, these big tubs of nitrogen infused coffee, but they're like double the price of this. And in terms of the serving size, if you look at how much coffee you get in that versus how much coffee you get in here, this is about 12 servings of coffee. The other one is about like 10 or 9. So again, you're paying double the price for less servings. And on top of that, it's not as convenient, not as fresh. But those things, again, we're going to get to later. My point was that nitrogen coffee in general is not very easy to get. It's not commonly available at this point, which is kind of what makes these guys special, is the fact that they're on the front lines of this sort of pinnacle breaking point in coffee, right? Where they are on the front about how do we get nitrogen coffee to people easiest, and how do we make it as convenient as possible for people who like nitrogen coffee or people who just want coffee in general. How do we get it to them? And I want to preface, I've been saying nitrogen coffee a lot, and a lot of folks who have maybe never tried nitrogen coffee. There is a difference in flavor, but I wouldn't argue that it's much different in terms of coffee. If you're someone who likes coffee, you will probably like nitrogen coffee. It's just a little bit of different in terms of, to me at least, how it tastes is a little bit kind of smoother. It has that smoother taste to it. The taste is a little stronger too, which may or may not be a good thing. But again, I don't want people to think that if you don't like nitrogen coffee or if you've never had nitrogen coffee, that this is not good for you. Because again, that's not true. It still has the benefits of caffeine. It still has the flavor of coffee, and it also has the additional benefits depending on which box you have. So this is not a box for just one specific group of people. It's a coffee box that's meant for all coffee lovers. Just wanted to preface that just in case there was confusion, right? Number 3, and we're going to take a second now to talk about it because we built the point up. Patent pending press and drip system, right? We spoke about this before, and now would probably be a good time to walk you guys through another reason as to why this is such a groundbreaking kind of coffee brand, right? There's a particular reason why. You'll notice there's a small vial that I've pulled out from my hand. It's a nice kind of seafoam green, just like the color of the box. I wonder if that was intentional, probably. But not only is this easily accessible nitrogen coffee, but this makes it almost a cheat code, really. This is coffee all here in this vial. If I pull this vial out, sometimes it's a little bit tough because my hands get so greasy and palmy. When you're presenting, it's just tough to... There we go. You'll see there's a small vial here, right? Inside here is the coffee, right? The nitrogen infused coffee. This is one serving, right? This is what I was saying earlier with the water. We're going to make it in just a little bit. But do you see how small this one vial is, right? This is all you need. One thing, press it down once you have it inside here. You press it down into the coffee and you instantly have your coffee ready to go. Isn't that a little bit crazy? That the nitrogen coffee that you want, that's so difficult to get at home without the necessary tools, and if you don't have the tools, you have to go somewhere to pay extra money, and we broke it down financially, and we'll do that again for you. But the point being, this has made it easily accessible to have nitrogen infused coffee, and in kind of a broader sense, to have coffee ready to go. I've told this story before, but the very first time that I tried this is my bed right here to my left. I woke up out of bed, I had one of these boxes on my table, I had a cup of water just sitting there. I decided, why not just try it? I grabbed it, tore the peel off, pressed down on the tab, the coffee went out, mixed it in, and I had coffee ready to go in under a minute at my bedside. I can't say that that's not a very convenient thing, because it is very convenient. I thought then and there how convenient it was that I could just lay in bed and have my coffee. Then I started thinking, well, what if it was winter time and I wasn't living in California and it was very cold, I didn't want to get out of bed, and it was so warm in my bed, but I just wanted coffee ready to go. Well, there you go. A solution is there. There's a million different situations that I could simulate for you, but you get the point, I hope, that this is not only something that's kind of limited in terms of availability, right? But the convenience of it is incredible, man. And the taste, the flavor, all that other stuff we're going to get to as well, it's actually really good. Sometimes with these products you get stuff that's like, it's really convenient, but the flavor sucks. Or the flavor's really good, but it takes too much time to prepare, but you don't have these issues with coffee to the moo. You don't have those kind of problems, right? We will cover the patent press and drip system a bit more in detail once we cover the boxes, and I will show you guys how to use it. Again, it's very, very simple. I'm not the smartest guy particularly, but I know how to use this damn thing like the back of my hand, and it only took me one try and maybe like 2 times to read the label. That's it. But again, we will cover that in a little bit. Let's finish off the mission statements before we get moving any further, right? We also spoke about earlier the premium all-natural ingredients. I want to also take a small second just to again say how important that really is, because in today's kind of day and age, as opposed to maybe 40, 50 years ago, I wasn't alive at that time, but the kind of growth of things like veganism or vegetarianism and then the options that come with it, it's nice to see that other brands are giving you more natural ingredients in your products. But the problem is with a lot of the brands, unfortunately, they have to jack their prices up because they kind of have to make those extra few steps to not use the easier option of making it chemically based or using kind of low tier ingredients, right? Usually you have to pay a pretty high price for natural things, which is sad, but it's the truth, right? You'll see at the bottom, these are all listed at $30 a piece. $30 gets you 12 of these vials, which we've done the math. That comes out to about $2.10, $2.15, I think, is roughly what one of these vials will cost you. And I think maybe now could be a good time, or maybe we'll save it for the end, actually. I think that's a better idea. But just to give you guys an idea, right, $2.15 for a vial is a pretty decent price range compared to a lot of other things, not just coffee related, but in general, that are all natural ingredients. It's very fair to you as a consumer, right? They're not upcharging as much as they could, because they certainly could. And a lot of the ingredients that are in these boxes, they cost a little bit. Remember the lion's mane that I mentioned earlier? It's a pretty expensive ingredient, but they use lion's mane in here to not only help you, but they choose not to upcharge you in a substantial amount. So we'll cover the financials again in just a little bit. I want to make sure that we can clear through all of these things first. Last time I took up an entire hour and I barely got everything in. So let's just keep the train moving, and then I can always come back and talk about some other stuff as well. But all the information I'm giving you is still building that case and the circle around you guys. So just keep that in mind. Lastly, travel friendly and no refrigeration required. We also touched on this just a little bit ago, how convenient all of it was. And again, I find myself talking a lot about convenience when it comes to Coffee to the Moo, but there's a very good point for that, right? We spoke about how convenient it is to lay out of bed, but we didn't really get a chance to speak about if you want coffee on the go, right? We had someone in here last Tuesday, this past Tuesday, excuse me, who had mentioned, an example of if they're on their way to class or they're in the library and they want to get coffee, your only options realistically are either go all the way home and, make your coffee yourself, but maybe you wanted to stay on campus. Number two is to find a local coffee shop nearby, and then you're spending, $6.50, $7 on a cup of coffee. Or number three, which is probably the most unrealistic thing, is just be that guy or girl to bring your coffee maker everywhere you go, right? Which is, no one's going to do that. So really you only have two options, and really the only option that seems the most convenient, which again, I find myself saying convenience a lot, but there's a reason, is to go to a coffee shop and spend $6.50, $7. And you might be starting to draw the point of earlier when I said that one of these vials is $2.10, $2.15, and then I tell you that you have to go buy a cup of coffee for about $6.50, $7. You can start doing the math in your head. Again, hold on to those thoughts, because we will get into more financial coverage in a little bit, but just so that you're aware. But this is really nice to have on the go, right? Because look, they come into these small vials. They're completely safe, by the way. I want to preface, some people would maybe think that they're not safe. If this tab is on there, you have to push kind of hard on this vial for anything to come out. So this is very safe to carry with you everywhere you go. You can take one of these, get yourself a water bottle with some coffee in there, and pop that in ready to go, right? I also haven't mentioned yet, but we will get to it in a second, but the flavor of the coffee by itself with no creamer is incredible, man. And I'm not someone who likes to drink coffee typically without creamer, but I can confidently say this is a good coffee that I would drink without creamer. The only reason I drink it with the creamer is because I paid good money for this. I want to use it, you know what I mean? I have to use it. It only has so many days to use. But my point is you can take this anywhere you want to go and use this any time of the day, which is very, very nice to see. Very good. Now, we've covered the 5 steps. We've covered the nutrition facts on the bottom of the box. We've covered all the ingredients, and of course we've covered the front of the box. We will do a small touch-up on the other 3 boxes as well, but most of those boxes have the exact same information on them. They have the 5 mission statement points, they have the ingredients on the back, which we will cover on each of the other ones as well. And then of course they also have a breakdown of their ingredients, which we will get more into once we get to these other cups of coffee. But now, I want to take maybe a little bit of a segue and break up the coffee time with a little bit of a demonstration for you guys, so that you guys can fully understand how to utilize this, how to make your guys' own coffee at home. It's very, very easy. Like I said, you grab a vial. I'm not going to use the Holy Moo today because I've drank this one the last 2 times. I want to try a new one today. And you know what? My greasy skin has been bugging me, so we're going to go ahead and open up the Beauty Collagen one. Right? For those who don't know, this is going to help with your skin, your teeth, your nails, those kinds of things. And it's enlisted with a bunch of good ingredients that all are relevant towards that. And again, we will cover that when we get to that box. But you can see all the vials are all nicely colored. This one is kind of a salmon green, which is a little bit, or not green, pink. I can't tell my I can't tell my color. Sorry guys, early in the morning. But very, very simple on how to use it, right? You have a glass of water. Everybody in the world, I think, has a glass somewhere. And if not everybody in the world, I hope has water. Put the water into the glass, step 1. Step number 2, there's a small tab on the bottom of this. You can't see it even if I put it close to camera, but there's a small little tab. You peel this off. Now you're seeing it. Now you're seeing it. Yes, there you go. You peel that tab off, I like to stick them on the top of my boxes. I don't know why. The boxes seem like a good place to put them as like souvenirs, I guess. There's like a collection of how many of these I've drank. But once that tab is open, you'll see there's a small hole. You can kind of see there. That hole is now exposed. And remember what I said earlier, that there's these needles inside there, right? This needle here, there you go. Give it a little shake before you pour anything out. You can see I'm shaking it straight, nothing's coming out. You have to press down on this. What's interesting though, in case you're wondering, if you press down just like this, nothing comes out, right? Nothing at all comes out. It's actually this valve at the very bottom. This gets pressed in and the coffee comes out. That's what they were talking about earlier, the patent press drip system. So because it's got the nitrogen in it, give it a good shake just to kind of make sure that everything's coming out cleanly. And on top of that, so you get a little extra nice flavor of that infusion. What I like to do, I hold it like this. You can hold it, I suppose, like this if you wanted to. You could hold it like this if you so pleased. Any way you want to do it. This is kind of the creative aspect of you. I just do it this way to show you guys on camera all of the coffee coming out. Man, my hands look really big, by the way, guys. Sorry, I guess getting a phone call during the middle of this can really... Okay, tell me if you guys can hear me now. Can you guys... we've hit some technical difficulties. Let me type it into the chat. Can you hear me? And see, this is why I have to get it on the computer. Okay. Oh, I dropped it, man. Man, one phone call has ruined it all for me. Okay. Okay, I think you guys are able to hear me now. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Let me go ahead and... Oh, hello, Serena. You're back. Good to see you. Let me go ahead and turn the phone on silent mode. You know, I find it interesting, guys. I find it very interesting that when I'm not doing anything, when I'm completely, you know, on my own, just hanging around, nothing's going on in the day, no one decides to call and text me, right? But the moment that I decide to do something, I get 15 phone calls. So I apologize for the technical difficulties there. I've been trying to work on lately getting it on my computer so we can have a professional mic set up and a webcam going as well. Still working out the technical difficulties of that, but let's not let that deter us. Let's go ahead and turn this how it was before. Anyway, we were trying out our coffee and I was talking about how I'm more familiar with the Holy Moo. I think I've had 2 or 3 vials of the Holy Moo, and I've had now, this is my second of the pink or the beauty collagen Holy Moo. Coffee to the Moo. I don't know why I keep calling it Holy Moo. It's the Holy Moo is this box. This is coffee to the Moo in general. But the flavor of the coffees is different, right? And that's something that I want to preface too. Initially, when I tried the first one, which is the Beauty Moo, I was like, they all must taste the exact same. But this one, right? This has a strong kind of flavor to it, right? It tastes like dark roast coffee. Holy Moo has kind of like a lighter caramel taste to it. And then I haven't tried the Skinny Moo yet. There's a reason why. It's just because I'm a bit of a bigger guy. I'm actually trying to not lose weight. But we will try that on stream one of these days as well, because we need to sample them all. But this one has kind of a very strong, dark, roasty kind of flavor. Still good, right? I like it a lot. What I like about nitrogen coffee in general is that kind of strength of the coffee. The nitrogen actually really helps to bring out the Arabica bean, so you can actually taste it better, right? Now, we're going to finish the coffee off with a little bit of creamer. Give it a good shake, and then watch the magic happen. There we go. That's a lot of creamer. And before anybody asks anything, I do put a lot of creamer in my coffee. But now, when we try it, right? Oh, look at that. And to me, man, it complements so well. Typically, when I put creamer in a coffee, I feel like you lose the flavor of coffee. I don't have the problem with this coffee, though. I mentioned earlier, I think, on last stream when I tried the Holy Moo, when I put the creamer in, to me, right, this coffee tastes good. It tastes strong, but it has that sweet accent from the creamer. This is like the same, if not better, than coffee you can typically get at like a coffee shop or a coffee store. That's just what my opinion is. And we talked about it earlier, how when you go to a coffee shop and you buy, let's say, a Starbucks coffee for $6.50 or $7, this is kind of, to me, what you're paying for. This tastes better than what you can pay money for. That's like 3 times in terms of what the vials cost, which is incredibly nice. We'll have one more sip of this. Oh, it's good, man. I really like this coffee. I'm not saying it to say it, by the way. I will be honest and transparent with you guys. I was so worried when I got this because I said, what if I don't like it? I don't want to have to lie to people. And I wasn't going to. But when I tried the coffee and realized that it's actually really good and it works, I was like, oh, this is incredibly... Jesse Rodriguez says, yummy. Thanks, Jesse. I appreciate it, man. Hope you're having a great day. When people told me that I had to review the coffee, I was pretty worried because I was like, oh, if I don't like the coffee, then I don't want to have to say that I like it. But the coffee tastes incredible, right? So we'll come back to the coffee in a little bit. We usually do a thing at the very end of the stream where we cheers and we have a coffee together. I don't want to cover the other 3 boxes, and we'll kind of, like I said, come to the trifecta box last, since the trifecta box covers all 3 of the other ones. So let's go to the one that I just tried now. And this was the first one that I ever tried before. This was the Beauty Moo. And it's designed specifically to help with, like I said, skin, nail, and teeth health. So the front of the box, once again, is exactly the same as the other 3, but of course the difference is in what it does. This one has a collagen and skin blend designed with rose collagen, hyaluronic acid, and vitamin C. And of course, in case you don't know what those ingredients are, let's say you just picked up this box in the store, they have a side that kind of goes over all 3 and what they do. I will read that for you now, right? Rose collagen supports hair, skin, and nail health. Now, where would you typically find rose collagen? In a lot of beauty products, actually, surprisingly. Rose collagen is very, very, very common in a lot of things. You'll typically see also rose collagen used oftentimes kind of extraternously, but you'll use rose collagen in those kind of, I don't know how to describe it to you guys. There's those drinks, like the drinks that help cleanse your system. Sometimes rose collagen is found in that, but in most times it's used in a lot of makeup supplies, typically stuff that's helping for your skin, like those lotions and those rubs. So again, they use ingredients that not only work, but have been tested and they're very safe. So don't let the rose collagen scare you, right? Hyaluronic acid, again, like rose collagen, typically used in a lot of beauty products, but that's there to promote hydrating and glowing skin. Lastly, vitamin C supports immune system and collagen production, right? Something I want to kind of add, which is important, and I spoke about this again on stream last time, is all the ingredients that they put in the products, they have a specific purpose, which is very nice. We spoke about how a lot of times I feel like with products, whether it's milk or something like chips, the ingredients that they put in there, there's a whole list of them. There's like 30 or 40 different ingredients in something like a potato chip, right? Or in products like wellness and health. A lot of times they'll throw stuff in there, but you don't know what they do exactly. And they throw a lot of things in there. And a lot of times, because they're putting so much of that stuff in there, it's all diluted. And none of it really does anything for you. You just spend your money on empty products. Because all the products have is 20 to 30 ingredients that all cancel each other out. And in the end, they don't do anything for you. What I like about Coffee to the Moo is the fact that they keep the ingredients list simple, right? On the back of this, look, if you can see, this is their ingredients right here. Look how small that is, right? And the ingredients are, again, water, liquid coffee, rose collagen, vitamin C, and then sodium hyaluronate, right? I think that's 5 or 6 ingredients, right? Take the water and the coffee out. There's 3 to 4 ingredients inside the coffee itself. So they keep the ingredients list simple, but they also keep it effective, which is very nice because typically, and I don't know the percentage or the milligrams in terms of how much they put in there, but I'd have to levy a guess, right? Going with the Holy Moo or the collagen, when they have 5 ingredients, and 3 of them are the rose collagen, the vitamin C, and the sodium hyaluronate, I'd have to imagine that you're getting a larger percentage of those ingredients. And a larger percentage typically means it's a higher dosage, which means it's more effective for you, right? If I gave you 1 milligram of caffeine as opposed to 150 milligrams of caffeine, of course, the 150 milligrams is going to do more for you, right? A lot of people need more caffeine, for example, than less. I, for example, need like 250 because I take pre-workout, right? But in general, if I need 100 milligrams of caffeine to even feel it, but I'm buying a coffee that has, like I said, 30 to 40 ingredients, and the caffeine content is only like 20 grams of caffeine, that's not going to do anything for you, right? And this can be applied to anything. If I bought a beauty product, let's say it's a lotion, and it has 15 to 20 different ingredients, and it says, oh, it's supposed to help with your skin, to make it nice and soft and smooth and wrinkle-free, right? That's the whole mission statement of the product. But then you look at the ingredients list, and it has, like I said, 20 different things, and rose collagen is one of them. How much rose collagen do you truly think you're going to get out of that? Probably very minimal, right? They just throw a lot of stuff in there so that they can say that the product does whatever it's supposed to do. But in general, it's not going to do anything for most people. What's nice about these guys is they keep the products list simple. The ingredients are healthy, the ingredients are safe and tested, and they put those ingredients in here so that you can actually see results. That's very nice. With this rose collagen one specifically, a lot of times with skincare products, you need to give it a little bit of time in order to kind of see the effects of it in general, right? This Holy Moo is the one I can speak on probably the most because I've tried it myself. And I should probably try the Skinny Moo so I can also test that. But the Holy Moo is the one that I've tried, and it's the one that can act the fastest, right? Because it's supposed to help with brain and focus. And I do feel genuinely more focused when I drink the Holy Moo, right? So there is kind of evidence right there that, for me, at least personally, it feels as if the product is really working. And I kind of have to levy a guess that that's because, for 2 reasons, right? Because the ingredients list includes only the ingredients that you need, and the other half of that, of course, I almost flipped the camera off, by the way. That was close. I caught myself. But the other reason, of course, being is the fact that the ingredients that they put in there, they're giving you a nice, fair dosage of them so that they can actually do their job, right? We spoke about, again, the nutrition facts on them, and I just want to preface again, they're very specific with it. There's 20 calories, there's 20 milligrams of sodium, there's no cholesterol. They're very specific in terms of like 0.05 is what they'll give you. They're very specific with that, which is very, very, very nice. And of course, something that I actually forgot to mention somehow, in this one specifically, you have 139 milligrams of caffeine. All of these boxes have about 115 or more milligrams of caffeine, which is equivalent to about a cup of coffee. Coffee has about the same, I think, about 100 milligrams, like 105, I think, per serving of coffee. So just to preface, you're not losing any flavor and you're not losing any of the effectiveness of coffee, right? You're just adding more bonuses to drinking your coffee. As we said, the 5 mission statements on the back, those are the exact same. The Arabica coffee, all of those things are lovely. We then also covered the ingredients list on the back of what each of these ingredients does. We'll come back to the rose collagen one in a little bit, but I want to get to the last one that we haven't reviewed until we get to the trifecta pack, which really, the trifecta pack we can cover now if you'd like. The trifecta pack has 4 vials, one for this, one for this, and one for this, right? And the trifecta pack, well, let's come to it real fast, since I'm on the topic of it. The trifecta pack is typically what I tell people in case you have never tried coffee to the moo before. It's probably the one that you want to go for first, right? Because it's like a sample size, like a trial run to see which of these might work the best for you. It's possible that all 3 work, all of them do their jobs immediately. Maybe one of them you don't like the flavor of it, or one of them you're not seeing the effects of it. This is why you buy the trifecta pack, right? What's nice about it too, they are so detailed with everything. The ingredients for all 3 of the boxes are on the back of this, right? Incredible. Again, the mission statement is also there. But then if you turn the box the other way, they have the ingredients list for the rose collagen, for the MCT that's in the Skinny Moo here. They have the lion's mane. It's all right here. It tells you which box it belongs to, and it also tells you what it's supposed to do, which is incredibly nice. Again, how specific they are and how friendly they are to consumers around the world, right? And then, of course, the front, the trifecta pack, tells you exactly what you get inside of it. So that's why I was saying earlier, we can come back to this at the very end, because there's not a specific unique flavor in this box, but it's kind of a trial run in terms of what you can do. And again, if you want to get this, it's just down there in the description below. All 4 of the products are there. This is probably one I recommend first if you're kind of on the fence and you don't know which one you want. Now we can get to the Skinny Moo. It's the last one that we haven't covered. Also the one that I'm probably the least exposed to. Again, the reason why is because I'm actually not trying to lose weight. I don't want to burn any fat. I'm kind of the opposite. I'm trying to get bigger and bigger all the time. So this is probably the one that for me I wouldn't get because I don't need the Skinny Moo effects. But I think next time on stream we're going to try this anyway, just because I want to see the flavor of it. As I said, all the coffees have a different flavor to them, which is nice, and then all the effects are lovely. But on the front of the box you'll see it says keto and fat burning blend, and it includes the following ingredients: MCT, grass-fed butter, and coconut oil powder, right? Which is incredibly nice. Again, 5 mission statements on the back. And then, of course, we have a bit of a different side, right? Different side here. They don't have the how these boxes have it, right? With the rose collagen and the vitamin B. They don't have it breakdown like that. They have it in a kind of small paragraph like here that reads, Skinny Moo is your ultimate keto coffee. It contains the ketogenic MCT, helps control cravings, increase your metabolism, improves cognitive performance, burns fat, and sustains your energy. And the Skinny Moo is probably the one that I like to get more sciencey on because, you know, the collagen one, the Lion's Mane brain focus blend, those ones are also sciencey, but this one specifically, I want to mention one small thing. A little coffee break here. Typically, I think with fitness products, the issue that you can find, and this kind of goes hand in hand with what I said earlier, about how a lot of brands will just throw a bunch of ingredients in, but then the effectiveness of that product is then kind of just nullified because there's too many things in there. But with fitness products, the kind of added caveat is not only are they more expensive typically because they all do very specific things, but a lot of times they don't work. Right? You're just paying for empty products. But the ingredients that they have in the inside, right? MCT specifically, you might not have heard what MCT is. And you'd maybe have heard what keto is. Well, they go hand in hand, right? They're complementary. That's what we would call them. With something like keto, for those who don't know, it's when you cut your carbohydrate intakes down so much to the point where you go into what we would call ketosis. You have ketones as well that are produced during that time, and then those ketones are going to help consume your fat and those fatty carbohydrates, and that's what kind of helps you burn fat and lose weight, right? It's tough to get into ketosis at first, and most times after even 2 or 3 months in, getting into ketosis is difficult, right? But what MCT does, along with grass-fed butter, which is just another fancy way of saying grass-fed steak, aka grass-fed cows, and then coconut oil, those kind of 3 come together to not only help get you into ketosis. It doesn't simulate it, I want to preface that. It helps you get into that mode a lot quicker, right? It helps push your body into ketosis, helps you produce ketones much faster. But once you're in ketosis, the grass-fed butter and then of course the coconut oil powder help burn fat. So not only is it helping you get to their ketosis faster without so much of a drain on your body, without cutting those carbohydrates down, but then once you're in that process, the coconut oil helps burn that fat more. And sometimes an issue that comes up in ketosis specifically is that people will just lose muscle and fat tissue. They lose everything. They don't just lose fat specifically. But this helps kind of emphasize just a little bit, maybe more of your body burning that fat as opposed to losing all of your muscle, right? And this kind of completes what I was talking about earlier with the products, is that I want to preface, you're not paying for just the coffee, right? The 4 products that you see in front of you, specifically these 3, but also the trifecta pack can be included in this bunch as well. They do more for you than just a coffee, right? They're not just there to help wake you up in the morning, right? They're what I would consider kind of lifestyle changers, right? And it's simple to explain them to anybody, right? Your beauty blend, if you have skin problems, or let's say your nails or anything of those nature, right? This is applicable to that. And the reason I can say it's applicable is because the ingredients that are in them, if you do your research on them, they are commonly tested, heavily used, and they are efficient, and that's what they're designed to be used for, right? In medicinal purposes, things like collagen has been around for years, and it's been used in a ton of different stuff. And the research and the studies will show you guys that there has been evidence of that being used, right? So not only are you getting products that have ingredients that have been tested or used prior for similar things, but you're getting something that's going to be helping you out in more than one way, right? You're not getting your caffeine shot. You're also getting your skin boosted and your teeth and your nails. So that way you can look good in the morning and you feel good in the morning, right? It's the same thing with a Skinny Moo, right? If you're someone who wants to lose weight, but perhaps goes down the keto route, but finds it's very difficult because of your high metabolism or the fact that it's just such a big lifestyle change, this is there to help you, right? It's helping you get to ketosis. It's helping to control your metabolism, which is very, very nice. And I can't say that's a very bad thing, right? How can that ever be considered a bad thing to be helped to get into ketosis, right? If someone like, let's say, needs, I don't know, some focus on their mind, they have anxiety, or they're maybe a little bit stressed from work or anything of that, etc., blend, then you have the whole emu inside of you, right? It has the same ingredients I just talked about with the collagen, where those ingredients have been used before in other products to help uplift or to help lower anxiety, right? So they're heavily researched products with good ingredients. They're not overstuffed with a bunch of things, and they're there not only to help give you good flavor in your coffee and to give you the caffeine that coffee would regularly give you, but they help kind of combat and partner with your lifestyle. I want to make sure how much time I have left. Oh gosh, I have 10 minutes. Wow, time freaking flew by. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, this is what happened last time. There's just so many things to cover with these products. I'll get better at talking about the products as I get on, but I always want to make sure that I cover the products as best as I can. But honestly, kind of looking at it now, I only have one thing left to kind of address with the products anyway, which was the financial aspect of it. I wanted to cover that before. I usually save that for the end. I don't know why. Maybe I should switch it up and put that at the beginning. But for a lot of people, the financial aspect of, let's say at the bottom you can see it costs $30 to buy one box of it, right? I don't know if we still have the discount running. I think we do. It's $4 off if you go to the Amazon store, that link down below, and you click on it, click it directly through here. I don't know if we still have it, but if we do, you can take advantage of that, and the product goes down to $26, right? But even if it wasn't, let's just assume that there is no, that it's just $30, right? For a lot of people, including myself, $30 for a lot of things seems like a lot of money. I wouldn't consider myself stingy, but I'm very frugal with my money, and if I'm buying something, I want to make sure that whatever I am buying is worth my money, right? I want to make sure that I'm getting the most out of it, and I think everything that I've kind of addressed so far in today's stream has been trying to show you guys that this coffee is not only coffee, it's multilateral, right? It does more than just wake you up in the morning. It changes lifestyles or helps benefit lifestyles, which is very nice. But if you break it down, if you remember all the way in the beginning when we broke the Starbucks comparison down, if you want nitrogen coffee, for example, and you're on campus, you're studying, it might be difficult to go home and get a cup of coffee and make it yourself, right? So more people are more likely to just go into a coffee shop and spend $6 to $7 on a cup of coffee. We broke down the statistics on what one vial costs you, and it comes out to roughly $2.15 per vial at $30 a price, which is pretty good, if I'm being completely honest with you. That's a pretty good price. So you're spending about $2, and let's assume you have a creamer with it too. So let's just add 40 cents even. Now your cup of coffee is about $2.65, which is, I think, roughly $4.50 cheaper than what buying a coffee at a local coffee shop might cost you. And for some people, I know they have an addiction to buying coffee. They buy it once a day. They'll spend $6 5 days a week. That's $30. That evens out more actually than what this would cost, because you have the tax and all those other things going into included. So at worst, guys, this is the same price of buying a coffee every day for 5 days during a regular week. But at best, this is actually saving you a lot of money in the long run, right? We don't even factor in the ability to have the coffee filters or the coffee grounds or having the coffee, have a coffee machine, for example. We don't factor those kind of things in, or having to buy coffee creamer even, right? So in the long run, you are saving a lot of money. And on top of everything else, guys, think about the convenience that you're putting into yourself. If we use that example again, where you're on campus and you want coffee, you have a small vial with you. As long as you have a water bottle and one of those water refilling stations, which are everywhere, or if you brought your own water from home, even better, you have coffee ready to go anywhere you'd like to go at any time. And on top of that, it's not a hard cleanup. It's literally one vial that you throw away after you're finished. That's it. So I think all in all, hopefully the point that is trying to be communicated here is coming across the way I'm trying to communicate it, which is this coffee isn't just a coffee, right? It changes and helps your lifestyle as well. And on top of that, it's not an inconvenience in your life. It's in fact a convenience in your life, because it's cheaper than most other alternatives, which is buying the coffee or buying a more expensive brand of coffee. And of course, the convenience of having to blend and make that coffee is very, very easy. It's not very difficult to do. And hopefully me today, kind of speaking to any of the new viewers today, or of course returning viewers, hopefully you guys can kind of get where I'm coming from, where the coffee is very well worth your money. The $30 that you spend, especially if you're buying the trifecta pack where you can try these coffees let the coffee speak for itself. Like I said, I don't think this is coffee that's trying to deceive you. It has everything listed, very transparent. So my advice to you would be, if you're skeptical, let the coffee speak for itself. Pick up a box today. I'd recommend Trifecta so you can try all three. But if there's one that sticks out to you immediately, give it a try and see the effects, right? Let the coffee's brand of product and how good of a product it is be the convincing point. I'm just here to set this all up for you, to give you guys the basic information. What you have to do now, of course, is to go out and pick up a box and try it for yourself. If it doesn't work for you, well, you can say you've tried. But I want to try and say that maybe, just maybe, more than likely, it's going to be a coffee that you're going to enjoy. Not just because of its flavor, not just because of its financial ability, because of what's inside the box. What's infused inside is made with real care for you, the consumer, and of course, is already planned out to try to be helpful to you in your life in more than just one way, which is very, very nice. Let me check the time, make sure I'm not going over my time. Perfect, man. I'm getting a little bit a little bit better at the timing of this all. And I tried to get everything in as much as I could. Like I said, the products, there's just a lot of information, and I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys all of it as best as I possibly can. Sometimes I tend to talk really fast, and because I get excited. That's genuinely what it is. It's probably the coffee as well. That probably has something to do with it, if I'm being completely honest. But, ooh, I just got coffee splashed in my eye. That's not great. It still tastes good though in my eye. I'm just kidding. But anyway, guys, I do thank everybody for joining the stream once again. In case you guys are wondering, I will be going live again next Tuesday. I believe that is maybe the 26th or 7th. I'm not 100% certain. But I'll be going live again at the same time, probably 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard. So again, if you're a returning viewer, Sabrina, good to see you again. Make sure you guys stop in again, and we will give a nice little chat. Next time I stream, though, I will give you guys this. I think we're going to try to add some new things into the stream as well. I think these first 3 streams have been great. We've really talked about the product in general in terms of its product effectiveness and, financial aspect. But next time we stream, I would really like to take a deep dive into some of the nutrients and the ingredients that are inside of it to give you guys maybe a little bit of a health kind of lesson. I also think we're also probably going to start with the demo first and then go into the coffee. I just want to keep these streams fresh because I know some folks come back to watch them, and I know other people will stop in to say hello or whatever. I want to make sure we're keeping the streams very fresh, but also always keep them informative. With that being said, you guys, thank you very, very much for watching my stream. I very much appreciate it. From me and the family at Coffee to the Moo, we love all of you guys. We hope you guys enjoy the coffee. With that being said, I'll finish with just the coffee on screen while I finish my coffee next to you guys here. Cheers, everybody at home. If you're watching, where's the camera? Here it is. Cheers. It's good, man. The coffee is good. With that being said, everybody, I have been your host, Ben. I will see you guys, I think, next Tuesday. Is that right? Next Tuesday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Peace out, everybody.